1MDB is playing hardball again. The state fund apparently defaulted on another interest payment due today, leaving the debt obligation once again to its partner IPIC. The Abu Dhabi company says it paid the interest of $52.4 million on a $1.75 billion bond. It had previously paid for another interest payment totaling $50.3 million on a separate $1.75 billion bond owed and missed by 1MDB last month. IPIC is the guarantor for both bonds, and it has said that it would only pay the interest if 1MDB defaults. The Malaysian State Fund, meanwhile, maintains that while it has more than enough funds to have made the payment, it was IPIC's obligation to pay in the first place. IPIC says it is now owed some $1.2 billion. It will reclaim from the Finance Ministry, which is 1MDB's sole shareholder. Earlier today, before the news of 1MDB's latest default broke, fund manager Mobius said all the negative press surrounding the troubled fund won't have a long-term impact on investor confidence. He explains that this is because investors look at individual companies and government stability. On whether there should be any concern if 1MDB defaults on its other bonds, Mobius said a default situation does not always end negatively, citing Argentina's $100 billion default in 2002 as an example. He said the prices of those bonds had nosedived, but investors who bought them for cheap are now getting paid handsomely. So last month, property company LBS Bina Group made an unconditional mandatory takeover offer for ML Global. Well, if you're an ML Global shareholder, an independent advisor has these words for you: walk away now. If you remember, on the table was 56 cents a share and 6 cents per warrant for the shares, which LBS Bina doesn't own. Well, according to Main Street Advisors' calculation, a fair value would be 65 cents per share and 24 per warrant, which is why it believes the offer is not fair and not reasonable. Since LBS Bina intends to maintain ML Global's listing status, Main Street Advisors says if shareholders do wish to exit their investment, they can consider selling the shares and warrants in the open market where they can get a better deal. ML Global's shares ended today at 57 cents, warrants were up at 25 cents. MBSB first quarter numbers aren't looking too good due to higher allowances for impairment losses. Net profit for the 3 months ended March fell 72% to just under 35 million ringgit. Revenue, however, was a different story, up about 18% to 812.6 million ringgit. The increase was mainly due to higher income from investments in liquid assets and higher financing income from its corporate segment. For the rest of the year, MBSB aims to up its focus on affordable housing and government contracts, as well as preserve and strengthen asset quality. BIMB Holdings also reported its first quarter earnings, and top line is looking pretty flat thanks to higher finance costs. Net profit for the quarter ended March came in at 135.3 million ringgit, little change from the previous corresponding quarters at 135.7 million. Revenue was up nearly 11% to 897 million ringgit. It didn't declare any dividend for the quarter under review. Going forward, BIMB says it plans to continue to focus on risk management, particularly on improving its financing portfolio and maintaining sound asset quality.